Satisfied with your bank? Have you considered a credit union? Midwest America offers about any service you need. The convenience of free mobile banking, debit cards, ATMs, free online banking and bill payer, competitive loans, mortgages, and more. Deposits insured to $500,000. Hey, consider this an invitation. Your next bank should be a credit union. Midwest America Federal Credit Union.
Midwest America Federal Credit Union.
Snow fell down on Bishop Darcy Stadium this past Saturday in round number 1 of the NAIA Football Championship Series. With the score USF 10-7 at the beginning of the second quarter, the snow began to accumulate on the field. St. Francis then rattled off 21 unanswered points as the number 4 ranked Cougars won their 12th consecutive first-round game in the 37-26 win over Reinhardt.
Well, I think great football teams find a way to win even under adverse circumstances, whether it be weather or whatever the case may be. And, the snow affected footing on all 22 guys that were out there at one time. I don't think the outcome was affected. The score may have been a bit different on a dry field. I think both teams were fast and didn't get to utilize their speed. Green had a great game in downhill runner, and our offensive line controlled them up front. Early in the game, we threw the ball well before the ball got waterlogged. Thought we could have diced up the back end pretty well. Did coming out in the first possession, you could tell our guys were playing like their hair was on fire. They were coming after them. Defensively, I thought did a great job against tough preparation, with the misdirection and the motions and the multiple formations and just the uniqueness of the modernized wing tee was a real nightmare to prepare for. And, I thought our coaches did well preparing our guys, and kids played hard. And, good first round win against an outstanding football team.
A great win highlighted by 2 superb catches by junior Seth Coe and a record-breaking performance by redshirt Justin Green, who ran for 252 yards on 32 carries, including 3 touchdowns, breaking the previous USF single-game rushing mark set by Cougar great Daniel Carter, which has some thinking that the 2015 St. Francis football team is made up of some of the best players in the program's 18-year history.
It certainly appears that way, doesn't it? We've got great kids. I ran into one of our young men this morning as he was coming into a meeting, and I've been doing this a long time. I think I started in 1973. Coached in well over 400 games as a head college coach. And I'm having more fun right now with these guys because of their attitude and their spirit than I think I've ever had before. So that's a tribute to the character and the quality of individuals that we have on our football team. Coaches have been a joy to work with, and the players have been a joy to coach. And I don't know if you've noticed, but every time that we win the toss, we take the football. We've lost it a few times, and people deferred. The only one that took the ball was Marion. So, we want to get our hands on the ball. We've got a lot of bullets in the gun. We're strong at tailback. And Justin Green just had he was hot, man. We had to get him the football. He had one of those days where, he just couldn't be stopped. And, a lot of that goes back to the big grunts up front. Really efficient up there. Coach Miller does a great job of those guys. And, if you don't have anywhere to run, it's difficult. But if the offensive line gives our backs in Saturday for Justin Green a little bit of air, they're going to find it and hit it fast.
One of the big grunts up front leading the charge is offensive lineman Keegan Bruner. He was the starting right tackle last season when the Cougars averaged 110 rushing yards per game. This year, USF is rushing for 190 yards per game, a big change from a year ago.
It started as soon as the season was over. From an offensive line standpoint, we came in here after Coach D gave his end of the season meeting, and we decided that things were going to be different. And I think that same mentality spread throughout the rest of the team. So we come back from Christmas break, and winter weights are starting up, and that mentality of, we're going to be the best next season kicked in. And there was no time where we thought we should get complacent about it. We knew we were having a good winter weight session, but on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays we were up at 5 a.m. and we were going to get right back at it to get better for this exact reason, so we could get our run game going, so we could protect our quarterback, so we could get the ball in the playmakers' hands, and so we could score touchdowns and win games. Winter weights, in my opinion, is fun, but at the same time, it's not fun. It's not easy. The coaches aren't really that nice. The players aren't nice to each other. Nobody wants to sit 6 and 5. Nobody does, especially in a program where I'd lost more games last season. My class had lost more games last season than I did combined the previous seasons. So that's one of those things where it was just sitting salty in our mouth, and I think we understood that it was time to turn things around and not ever allow that type of season to happen again. We've cruised through a lot of games, but in my opinion, also there's been some times through the previous seasons where we get up by a few touchdowns, and then it's like, okay, we can put it on cruise control. Well, this season it's like we're not taking our foot off the gas pedal. So that goes back to being conditioned and just having that mentality of we're going to be the best, even if we're going to beat teams by 50 points. We were bending in a couple of games. There's a couple times where we bent a little more than I'd like to see us bend, but we never broke.
This past Saturday was a big day for Green, breaking the single-game rushing record, averaging 8 yards per carry, and getting his picture in the newspaper. A big day like that is a huge day for the 5-0 linemen.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I think I can speak for the 4 other guys that play up front with me and any of the guys that are backing us up. When we're leading a guy down the field and, play after play, we're going to get 5 or 6 yards. And I don't even know what our carry, what our yards per touch is, but and I know it's probably up closer to 5 yards this season, and that's what we love. And that, we don't have to get our names in the paper, our picture on the front page, because we don't have that mentality. Our mentality is just on Saturday just to go out and have fun and knock some people around and beat some heads. So it's okay for us not to get our picture in the paper, but to see our running back break records, and our 4 running backs have at least 5 touchdowns each, and our wide receivers to be lighting the scoreboard up as well, we love it. We don't have to get the praise and the glory. That is our praise and glory when we got some of the top wide receivers in the country and running backs.
St. Francis has played in big games this season on the road. The win over Reinhardt was USF's first home game versus a top 25 opponent.
A lot of people at the beginning of the season are like, St. Francis' schedule's it's not tough this season. It's not what it used to be. There's no St. X, or there's no Grandview or William Penn on the schedule anymore. So it's like, they're just going to have a cakewalk all season. Well, we traveled on the road to 2 top 10 teams and played a heck of a football game, and came out with the victories. And understanding that, Robert Morris didn't make the playoffs, but I believe that they probably played their best game against us, and same speaks for Marion. They probably played their best game against us. So, I thought we really handled Reinhardt pretty well, understanding that it snowed a couple inches. But I don't know, if there wouldn't have been any snow on the ground, I think we would have scored. Justin Green probably would have had, 400 yards on the ground. Who knows? But yeah, I think, our top 25 games this season, we've controlled them extremely well.
The success that the St. Francis football team is having is not by happenstance. In fact, Bruner can attribute the importance of off-season preparation to his days of showing pigs at the Kosciuszko County Fair. The Warsaw native has a passion for both football and pigs.
Yeah, I started showing pigs I think it was 3rd grade when I started showing pigs. We weren't very competitive at it when I first got into it. Now it's the complete opposite. I mean, I'm real competitive into it now. Usually on show day, you'll see me just sweating bullets because, you know, I got to get these pigs ready. But yeah, I think those two can, football and showing pigs correlate from a competitive standpoint. I certainly never want to lose in either. You can't work with them when it's too hot because they don't sweat. So you'll stress a hog out really easily. But we get out there 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and you get them out, we walk them laps around our backyard, and then you take them, rinse them off, put moisturizer on them, on their skin, and let them be for the night. So you spend a couple hours with them every day, and that'll allow you to be successful with them. If you want to be competitive in Indiana and showing hogs, you're going to get your pigs late February, early March, and you're going to get them ready for July county fairs, state fairs into November, for Louisville. And so, yeah, you got to put those 3-4 months, previous to your show time, you got to put, that's got to be that's when you win. That's when you're getting them trained to do what they need to do, feeding them what they need to be fed to get them ready to get them in the winner's circle. Just as, we go in the weight room in January, February, March to get ready for August, September, October, December to win. The show pig industry has a soft spot in my heart, just like football does. I'll always be involved in it.
Coach D has always been involved with the Cougar football program. Heading into Saturday's game versus number 5 Montana Tech, St. Francis holds a 22-14 overall playoff record, which is the most wins among the qualifying FCS teams, and a 19-0 home playoff record through 18 seasons, which means
it tells you this, that if you're in postseason play and you're getting to host, you're a pretty good football team. Now, I think when you get into long distance travel, there's some other advantages. We got a team for the very first time. We have friends from Montana coming here. We've been out to Carroll, Helena, Montana, several occasions. And you've got the travel, you got the weather, you got all those things to deal with. Now, Montana Tech comes in here and they're an outstanding football team. We're very well coached. Their head coach was a defensive coordinator at Sioux Falls when we played back in 06 and 08. Good football coach. And they have a good football team and they do sound things. But they've got to get on a plane Friday morning. They've got to travel a couple time zones. They got to get up at 5 a.m. their time and kick off at 10 a.m. on Saturday. That's difficult to do. Still got to play the game, and I'm sure he's going to have them ready because he will have them ready. I can guarantee that. But we get to stay in our routine and time and that sort of thing. Thanksgiving weekend, it's not the normal. Early morning Thanksgiving practice and having a team Thanksgiving dinner at 5 o'clock. It's not the normal Thanksgiving holiday weekend. It's not the normal practice week routine, but you have to adapt to things. And postseason play with travel, weather, all the things far and few in between of all those things, you just have to deal with maturity.
So now the Cougars take on a team that had a 1-9 record a year ago. The Orediggers are led by running back Nolan Saraceni, who ranks number 1 in the NAIA with 1,620 yards rushing, while averaging 162 a game. Saraceni ranks in the top 10 in 8 different categories.
33, he's good. He's probably the best back we've seen all year. Big, strong, physical kid with great speed. That's the number 1 challenge of the week for our defense, to stop that guy, because he's good. You can't arm tackle him. You got to gang tackle him, and you got to be physical with him. And then they'll lull you to sleep with some play action stuff, and they've got some receivers that can run. And they're very strong at the line of scrimmage. They lock on to you, they're going to move you. So, you know, we've got to use our speed up front to move and be active, which, you know, that's who we are. So we're going to continue to do that. And then on the other side of the ball, I mean, they're as good a defense as we've seen. Giving up less than, 17, 18 points a game. So they're big and strong and physical, and they're extremely well coached and multiple in what they do. In all three levels, I mean, they're going to give you decision issues for your quarterback on where to go with football because of the variety of things that they do and do well.
The Montana Tech defense is strong, led by head coach Chuck Morrell, whose team is coming off its first home playoff game victory in 18 years. The Orediggers ranked number 5 in scoring defense, limiting teams to just 16 points per game. The Cougars ranked number 3 in scoring offense, averaging 51 points per contest, which makes for an exciting quarterfinal matchup.
You know, every game is to be played. You know, you got all the computer rankings, you got all the experts that know all the data and all the information, but bottom line is the way you play the game. Who's ready? Who's ready emotionally? Who's ready? Who's been coached well and accepted their coaching assignments and disciplined enough to carry out their role on game day? Obviously, they got a great defense. Our offense has put up numbers, but bottom line, it comes down to 60 minutes on game day. How are you going to respond? How are you going to play? Are you going to get it done? Or are you going to talk about it? You know, I just tell our kids, you know, show me, don't tell me, show me, go play. Game is played, and it's meant to have fun. And we try to have fun every day. It's been an enjoyable each and every day experience. And Saturday is time to ice the cake.
Yeah, they're good. You can tell they're a defense that they spend some time in the weight room. They're big, they're tall, they're fast. So it'll be different, you know, going from a team that's out of the South that just likes to, it's all about speed and, you know, more of an offensive game out of the South compared to these teams that are playing out West. It's like, they got a good defense and they're going to have a good offensive unit. You know, they might not score a lot of points, but their defense isn't going to give up any points either. So, you know, I guess, you know, the mindset this week is just respect all and fear none.
Which has been the same motto all season long. And at this point, the Cougs feel like they're the best team of the 8 remaining FCS qualifiers.
A lot of us guys talk, we sit there and sit in class or sit over, you know, on campus and talk about, you know, is there really a team that can beat us? And you know, we sit there and watch film on ourselves, and it's hard to, you know, we watch film on ourselves, watch film on other teams, and it's like, you know, I just don't think there's any other team that can play with us, I should say. You know, you know, Robert Morris and Marion we both went neck and neck the whole game, but it's one of those things where we bent, but we didn't break. And sure, yeah, week in and week out, you can clean up some steps, or the wide receivers can, you know, do this or do that, depending on, you know, the DBs that they're going to be playing. But it also, you know, if you have the right mentality and just go out and play the game that these coaches taught us to play, that's why we're being so successful this year.